What's up, y'all? Within today's video, we're going to be talking about Trisha Paytas, Jeffree Star, and Daniel Preda, which if you guys don't know Daniel Preda, he is friends with Manny MUA. He is the ex-partner of Joey Graceffa, and he's growing pretty popular on TikTok as well as Instagram. He recently was on Trisha Paytas' podcast, I want to say as a fill-in for Oscar, and they had some conversations. You know what? I think I've said this before. There was a hot minute there that Daniel Preda was getting roasted on TikTok because he talked about a situation to where a YouTuber that he didn't like, and then that person like roasted him on TikTok. So everyone was roasting him. But from what I have seen of Daniel Preda, I'm just keeping it so real. I like him. Like, I really do. I feel like he just does not give a damn. And like, whatever his honest opinion is, he's going to say it. And I really do appreciate that. And I find it to be refreshing because I feel like a lot of these YouTubers, and honestly, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. This is the key to success when it comes down to YouTube. I feel like a lot of these YouTubers are so scared to speak their true thoughts and opinions because they're so scared that people aren't going to want to collab with them, or they're going to like blacklist them and not invite them to things. And really, at the end of the day, to become a very popular and famous, successful YouTuber, you do need to network. You do need to have connections. And I'm just keeping it real. This is why, like, I'm a perfect example of this. This is why I don't ever grow on social media, because I have never collabed with one single YouTuber. Like, not one. Because I just feel like, like, I'm not going to click with any of these people. A lot of these people are fake as hell, and I just feel like as soon as I see something phony, I'm like, no, bitch, I don't want to talk to you. Do you know what I mean? And I really like that Daniel will speak his mind. Like, he really will, and obviously a lot of people will be like, oh, he's this or he's that because of it, but at the end of the day, those are his thoughts and those are his opinions, and I like that he's not scared to speak them. And you know what's so crazy is I do feel like there was a hot minute there to where, like, this whole situation of, like, him getting called out, I thought that he would change because of that, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad to see that he has not, because y'all, he kind of talked about Jeffree Star within the podcast that he was on with Trisha Paytas, and I was like, oh. Also, I have to say this too from the jump, like, I really would like to see Jeffree Star on Trisha Paytas' podcast. It seemed, I made a video about it before, it seemed that she was open to having him on the podcast. I don't know if he would, because you know what's so crazy? I've seen Jeffree say before that he doesn't like hold grudges and whatnot. But to my understanding, it kind of seems like he does hold grudges, because let's keep it real here. He had a falling out with Tati Westbrook. He had a fallout with Trisha Paytas, with Laura Lee, Gabriel Zamora, Manny MUA, and he hasn't talked to any of them since. Like, they have not had any. Oh, James Charles too. Like, he hasn't worked out things with any of them. And yes, you could say maybe they did horrible things to him and whatnot, but that many people, I really do feel like if you have a public falling out with this amount of people, don't you think that he would have like rekindled his friendship with at least one of them? Like, I don't know if you guys had saw now, but Gabriel Zamora and Manny MUA obviously had a really big public falling out, and they're even friends till this day. Like, they're super close. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like Jeffree Star, maybe he does really hold grudges, and I'm so curious to know what the full story is about Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star, because to my understanding, it doesn't really seem like it was that big of a deal, and I feel like it was something that probably could have been worked out on. Also, hold on, while we're talking about this whole like falling out situation, why do I personally feel, this is just my opinion, why do I feel like Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star really aren't friends behind the scenes? I'm just like, I don't know why, for some reason I feel like Shane Dawson is low-key scared of Jeffree Star, and I feel that, well, maybe scared, or on top of that, maybe he feels like indebted to him because he made so much money off his conspiracy collection, because I don't know why, for some reason, I don't feel like they're real friends. Like, I don't see them kicking it like that. Yes, I know they live in different states, but I just feel like they're very distant, and I don't know, they don't really talk much. Every now and then Shane Dawson will post Jeffree Star stuff, but it just seems very like, I don't know, it seems very transactional in my personal opinion, and I feel like for some reason Shane probably doesn't even really like Jeffree that much. I don't know. I'm so curious to know what the truth is, because I feel like I've seen Jeffree Star go through so many public friendships. Like, low-key, he's like the J-Lo of like relationships. He's like the, friendship version of that. Like, he has gone through so many damn public friendships, and I'm like, what's the situation here? Also, hold on, I know I'm going off on a tangent here, completely off topic, but speaking of this, I want to know what Manny MUA has to say about Jeffree Star. Like, what's the real tea about that? Because I feel like there is something that he's holding back. Maybe he signed a contract, though, that he couldn't talk about anything. There must be like an NDA, because y'all, they haven't mentioned like each other. There was one time, I don't know if you guys remember, that Jeffree Star was on a TikTok live or Instagram live, I forget what it was. I made a video about it. It was a long time ago, and somebody had asked about Manny MUA, and he was like, why don't you go ask him? That was just it. So I'm like, damn, because he'll stay throwing shade at James Charles, but then he won't throw any shade at, like, Laura Lee or Manny MUA. So I'm like, what's the tea over here? Anyways, today we're going to be talking about Daniel Preda and Trisha Paytas talking about Jeffree Star on their podcast. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what the tea is too about Daniel Preda and Jeffree Star, because he says, you guys will see within the clip I'm going to play today, that he had like made a tweet or like called him out, and like I guess Jeffree Star had blocked him, which I'm like, oh, I don't know. That seems a little bit fishy. But then I do feel like for some reason Trisha Paytas was kind of holding back. I feel like there was more that she wanted to say. But I feel like, because if you guys don't remember, she said on her podcast, she's like, I don't even remember what the issue was. And Jeffree Star snapped on TikTok and was like, she tried to ruin my life. And then since then she was like, whoa, okay, let me tone it on down. I feel like she was like, let me hold back on this. Also, I do want to mention too, a lot of people were talking about the situation that apparently they did brush up on the Colleen, aka Miranda Singh situation. I don't know enough information about that. So I was just like letting you guys know within that same episode they were talking about it, but I was like, I'm so kind of lost on that situation. You guys know I never really talked about it because I was like, I'm so lost at what is going on. I feel like there was just so many pieces of that story and so many people were coming out that I was like, I can't keep up with it. As soon as so many people start coming out about one person, I'm like, okay, this is just too much and I can't keep up with this whole like, you know, like situation of like, oh, we got one person saying this and this person saying this. And I'm like, I just get so baffled with that. So letting you guys know, if you guys are interested and you guys did follow along with the Colleen Bellinger situation, aka Miranda Sings, they did touch up on that. But today we're just going to be playing the clip and talking about Daniel Preda, Trisha Paytas, and Jeffree Star. So let me get a drink of water and let's get into it.
Are you eating the yak meat now?
Oh, exclusively. No, Montana is not Wyoming. A lot of people are like, why do you live there? I'm like, totally separate states. No.
It's close.
Montana is for the outdoorsmen, wonderful people, adventuring, and Wyoming is for like farming and crazy people.
And have you tried the yak? You should do number one hater yak meat.
I will be yak meat if I go there. Are you kidding? I will end up like in the freezer.
Wait, why? Oh.
No, just because
general.
like just in general,
Okay.
I have always been outspoken about certain things with that person, and I don't stand for like any hate on like the trans queer LGBT community. I think like you need to uplift each other, especially when you have that much power, and to use your voice in a negative way is just like so detrimental.
Do you think it's changed?
No.
Okay.
Darkness, evil.
I don't really follow. I try to.
I don't follow either. I'm blocked on every platform.
Okay.
Because I think I quote tweeted something once and it was like against the grain. I'm like, how could you as a queer person not fully X, Y, and Z? Like I was standing up for my people, you know?
That's good.
And that's it. And some people can't take the Trish. They can't take the Trish.
Take the Trish.
The tea.
I think in general there is, especially like, completely separate conversation, but like old people in general maybe has like a little self-hating because they can't like fully be themselves, or you know, people at the time, you think back in like the 90s, like a completely separate thing, but like in the 90s when people couldn't be out and gay, so maybe they like hate on this new generation that not only can be, but it's almost like not only is it accepted, but it's like really cool and trendy, right? Like, you know, like lesbians are having the moment, right? But I feel like maybe people who couldn't be so fully out
I think
are a little
like,
bit.
It's all stems from insecurity and like sadness within yourself. And like again, if you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have like a solid foundation of people around you and love and people who care about you, like none of it's worth it.
So as y'all saw from right there, he obviously has some issues with Jeffree Star, and he called him out before on Twitter, and Jeffree Star just was not having it and blocked him on all forms of social media. And I have to say, like, I feel, am I crazy? Did you guys see what I see as far as when it comes to Trisha Paytas? She was like, let me hold back. I don't really want to say anything, because it really did seem like she was going to like say a couple things, and she was like, she kind of stopped herself, and low key, maybe because she's like, damn, I don't want this backlash online from Jeffree Star, because she knows how he can pop off, and maybe, you know, she's probably scared of that. Also, I have to say too, when it comes down to the whole like Montana, Wyoming situation, I'm like, I didn't even know that people were getting those states confused. I guess I didn't even know that Daniel Preda, I guess, lives over there in Montana. I thought he lived here in California. He has to like maybe have a home out there or land out there and like go back and forth, because I'm like, he is always doing like Erewhon like food reviews, and I know for a damn fact there is no Erewhon out there in Montana. By the way, oh my gosh, have you guys seen his TikToks to where he's always doing Erewhon reviews? I am so sorry, but like, I can't believe that people are paying like up to $27 for a smoothie, for a regular size smoothie. That just blows my mind. And I don't know why, for some reason, those pop up, like his videos pop up of him doing the Erewhon smoothie reviews. And I'm like, people are actively paying this much money for a damn smoothie. Anyways, back to the Jeffree Star situation. I'm so curious to know if Jeffree Star is going to see this, like one of the clips, because they are going around on TikTok. And I feel like Jeffree Star probably will address this, because I do feel like, I don't know, I feel like for some reason I could potentially see Jeffree going on to Trisha's podcast, if he like gets past it. I am so sure that Trisha Paytas would want Jeffree Star on the podcast. I think that she knows that'll be good for views, and I think that she knows a lot of people want to know like the backstory of what happened, what was their falling out, and them actually having a public conversation, because obviously we were all brought into that drama, if you guys don't remember, with the whole Hair by Jay and them going to Vegas. And I feel like there was just so many moving parts to that situation that people are like, what really happened here, and what was like the main beef between you guys? Because it seemed like they actually got along really good. And it's so crazy because she actually said on her podcast too a couple of times that she was like, well, no, like everything was like fine. And then, you know, she couldn't really remember what had happened. And I think that maybe, you know, she's said it numerous amounts of times before that she was like going through things mentally, and maybe she just kind of snapped, you know? And I don't know, like I feel like it would be really cool to see him on there. So I'm curious to know if they had any progress with moving forward with, you know, like, you know, reconciling, or like at least even just doing a podcast together. I wonder if Jeffree seeing Daniel talk about him on there, if he's like, you know what, like, never mind. But I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like people are obviously going to have their opinions about you. And obviously someone like Daniel is very outspoken. And at the end of the day, he's entitled to those feelings and opinions. And I hope that that doesn't persuade anything, just because I'm nosy as hell and I want to see Jeffree Star on the podcast, just so I could see them, like, you know, talk about what, like, happened, because that's so bizarre. And you know what's really crazy though is I wonder how it would play out, because I think that Hair by Jay still does the campaign hair for Jeffree Star Cosmetics. So I'm just kind of like, and every now and then I think that he does Jeffree Star's hair too. So I'm like, imagine how that would be. Imagine if Jeffree Star went to Trisha Paytas' podcast and like showed up with Hair by Jay to like touch up his hair. Like that would be so crazy. I'm so sorry, but I'm like, damn. Because in my personal opinion, I kind of feel like Hair by Jay was the one who kind of like blew things up even more, which I was kind of like, well, you're not even really in it. You know what I mean? Anyways, make sure you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions about everything. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Girl Scout.